and hey, congratulations on another successful project.
Thank you, Gag. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Great. Hey, so what attracted you to play this Mayor Arturo in Fatima?
Well, I've heard of this story when I was a teenager, and so I've known about it for a while. And when the script came across my desk, I was really interested in how they told the story. I was also very interested in Marco Pontecorvo, I've just seen his movie Parada that I really loved. And it was a contemporary movie. It was done very realistically, very almost kind of like semi-documentary. And I was curious to see how Marco's going to tackle the period piece that happened more than 100 years ago. And those combinations really tickled my imagination. I wanted to be a part of it. And then Lucia Moniz was supposed to be in it, which I've seen first time in Love Actually. I really liked her character there, and I was really excited to work with her. And I really loved the script, so I was like, yeah, sure, I would love to do this.
So, how did you like the recreation of the set of a place 100 years ago? Since Fatima has changed so much.
Well, we actually did find a village that was just an abandoned portion of the village was abandoned, and it looked 100 years ago. The roads were still like just rocks on the ground. And then we were shooting in city of Tomar in Portugal. That main square still looks the same like 100 years ago. Nothing changed. We just took off the modern I don't know, satellite dishes and maybe, the modern posters of the businesses, and we changed them with the old ones. But, the church and the buildings, they were all built more than 150, 200 years ago. So it really wasn't that difficult because Portugal has a lot of beautiful antiquities,
Excellent. Now, did you do any research on the actual mayor, Arturo, yourself?
Of course. Well, you have to, because, he sometimes, he's portrayed almost like, when you look at the old movie, he's portrayed like a bad guy without kind of like really going into what was going on in the world at the time. Who was he? Why was he doing what he was doing? There was this anecdote that he actually put the kids in a jail, which is not true because that building didn't even have a jail. That he put the kids in a basement where they kept wine and prosciuttos and stuff like that. Just kind of tried to scare them a little bit because he was almost 100% sure that kids are inventing the story, that they started playing, and when the story became much bigger, that kids didn't know how to back down, So he was trying to break them in a way. Come on, kids, just be honest and tell me that this really didn't happen. And kids didn't want to do that. Kids were very, very, and that's the beauty of the story. Those kids were going through the storm of these adults and government and church, and they kept their story. They kept their message, and the message was message of love and peace and positivity, and that's why it's still there. The Fatima is still there.
When you're playing a character like this, do you feel bad on how maybe he sort of treated these kids?
No, because when you go to historical record, he invited them over to his office. He offered them food and drinks, and he talked to them. He kept them there for a long time, and against the wishes of his mom and dad. But that was 100 years ago. When I was a kid, a little smack from my neighbor, even if I've done something bad, was like a normal thing. Today, you don't want to smack your own kid. No, don't even talk about the neighbor's kid. When I grew up, your neighbor would kind of like administer the little punishment as easy as your mom and dad, and nobody would, they would say, thank you for doing that. So it was a different time, but no harm ever came to those children,
Are you personally religious yourself?
Yes.
Oh, so do you believe in Fatima, or you kind of somewhat don't believe in it?
Well, I mean, believe in Fatima is a wrong is is a wrong. You know, if you try to dissect it scientifically, I mean, what are you going to say? How are you going to do that? So, what happened when that final miracle happened? There was about 70,000 people. All of them said that the sun was moving left and right. There's even like film recording of the time, but people say no, it's fake. All these people were lying. You know, something did happen, but we'll never find out exactly what. And with our today 21st century technological brains and science, we're not able to realize what that thing was. We know that sun cannot move around, but something obviously happened. Now, maybe it was like natural phenomena, but right then at that time, it really is not important. The important thing is that those kids were so little, so young, and they delivered a message that was so pure and full of love and tolerance, and basically say, we need to pray more, we need to love our fellow humans more. And I'm like, and those kids persevered through all those, you know, adults and church and government, and to deliver the message. And that message is still out there today. And even we're giving it away again. And I think that was the miracle, you know? So yeah, I believe in it. Absolutely.
So since we're like sitting here more than 100 years later, during our dark times, if a miracle like that happens, would you believe in it?
In today's day and age, it would be really difficult. Then there's so much noise out there that you really can't believe in anything nowadays. You really need to do your due diligence research, and a lot of people are doing their research, you know, by checking a couple of YouTube videos, and then, you know, you got conspiracy theories like never before. They're just like popping up everywhere. Somebody said, you know, like you don't want to read the peer defended papers, you know, you just want to check YouTube video. It's much simpler, you know, because the paper is kind of boring, but YouTube video is made interesting, and it's under 3 minutes. So we all kind of become specialists in so and this and that. So in today's day and age, if that's something like that happened, it would be probably drawn into the sea of rubbish. At that time, it was unusual. There was nothing going on. There was no radio, no television, no internet, just newspapers. And that's why it resonated so much. And that's why it had the air of truthfulness at that time, even more, you know, like today, if something like that really happens, if really Virgin Mary comes and talks to somebody and say, look, please tell the people so-and-so, without some really huge proper miracle, nobody would, you know, even with the miracle, nobody would say a thing. I mean, there was in South America, in Mexico City, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, people saw so many weird lights, and it's recorded and it's UFO, but nobody said, yeah, well, it was something. No, it was something, but what? And then we just forget about it because we don't have explanation or whatever, you know?
Excellent. Well, hey, thank you very much. And real fast, how do you pronounce your last name? Because we always debate it.
Visnjic.
Visnjic. Hey, well, thank you very much, Goran. I really appreciate this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Have a good day.